Welcome to Hi-Fi Fitness, Episode 16. I'm Denet Lewis, the host and producer. We're going to look at the future of fitness and wearable fitness technology. So with me in the studio, I have Peter Lee. Peter, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you've been working on inventing some cool technology yourself, and I look forward to hearing about this technology and how it works.
Absolutely.
But I see you forgot your gym clothes.
Oh, no.
So for our viewers, you know, when people go to the gym and forget their gym clothes, you can still work out. I think we should have a little workout and get our heart rates up, and then we'll sit down and talk about how this technology works.
Sounds
If
good.
you want to go ahead and start, I have the first exercise is to loosen up and warm up the shoulders. I call these robots. So we'll put our arms to the side and we'll do about 10 of these approximately. You want to just follow along with me. So, make sure you get the shoulders nice and lubed up. Okay, now we want to warm up a little bit more, so we're going to go ahead and do some jumping jacks. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. For our viewers that are watching, you can go ahead and work in with us. Instead of just sitting there, get your heart rate up too. Don't just sit there. You want to get your heart rate going and move. So let's go ahead and do some push-ups. We'll start with some wide or normal push-ups, then we'll do some triangle push-ups after that. So let's do about 10 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to make sure we get a full range of motion in these. Now our variation to make them a little harder and to work on the triceps a little bit more is to put our arms close together. So let's go ahead and put our arms close together and we'll do 10 of these to get our triceps nice and pumped. One, there you go. Notice that you're fine doing those in jeans. Now we're going to turn around and do some sit-ups. Good old-fashioned sit-ups. We'll activate our abs. We'll do about 10 of these. 1, 2, 3. Good. Is your heart rate picking up a little bit?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do that again. Gonna start with the robots again, just to really work on that range of motion. Good. Now, let's get the jumping jacks going. Ready? Great. Now, drop down and do some push-ups. Then do the close grip push-ups, get the triceps nice and pumped. Turn around. We'll do some sit-ups. Remember to smile and have fun when you work out. Great. Right. Okay. For our viewers, go through that about 10 more times. So I believe you brought a video that actually showed people in the gym hitting some weights. So let's take a look at that video, and then we'll talk about the device, and maybe we should go through a few more rounds while people, or for our viewers, be sure to hit a few more rounds. But if we could check out that video of you in the gym. Technologies, the Internet of Things, and as we become more connected, part of it will be having more connected workouts with big data. You can imagine all the data points we'll be collecting. So, Peter, what is wearable fitness, and what is this thing you have me wearing?
Cool. So wearable fitness is really the future, where technology becomes compact enough such that it can be on your body the entire time. So what Denet is wearing today is one of the startups we're working on right now called Atlas. And Atlas Wearables, what we're working towards is creating the next generation of wearable technology, where this is a single wrist-worn sensor that you take to the gym. And what it does is, instead of just tracking the steps and the calories you burn, we dive much deeper into the data. And from that, we can actually pull out what exercise you're doing, so you don't have to remember anything you do anymore. You don't have to think about it. Atlas automatically records it all for you.
Well, recording data is pretty cool, but let's step back and talk about, first off, why do we need that? Why can't I just keep a log? What will this do better than I can just do with my old pencil and paper?
Absolutely. So something that we really believe in at Atlas is wearable technology shouldn't replace the things that we love. It should let us focus on the things we love and automate the things we don't. So granted, we could always write things down and try to memorize everything, but we believe that the true joy from exercise and fitness is the self-improvement, the progress that you can make as an individual. And what Atlas is doing is it takes all of the paperwork, all of the graphs out of the picture, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So we do that all for you automatically.
Okay, so how does this work? There's got to be some cool sensors going on here. There are accelerometers, or what have you got? So how's it pick up motion?
Yeah, that's a great question. So everything we have is based off of accelerometers. So it has a very similar sensor package as what you find in existing products. The magic really comes in from the software and the technology side, where instead of just looking for maxes and mins, which normally signify steps, we actually look at the specific features that you find in the accelerometer data. So Denet's wearing one of our prototypes right now, and you can see as he waves his arm around, you can see very specific motions on the graphs. The red, green, and blue signify the 3 channels of acceleration along the X, Y, and Z axes. And you can see from his robot warm-up move that there are very distinct patterns you can see in the accelerometer profiles. And what we're essentially able to do is convert this into the 3D trajectory, and then each movement will have a very specific accelerometer fingerprint. And we essentially track that and create the exercise based off, classify the exercise based off of it.
So you're telling me that eventually this is going to be able to sense what I'm doing, tell me if I'm doing the exercise, and it will even know if I'm doing the right range of motion?
Absolutely.
So when I've got my buddies spotting me on the bench and a couple of them say, don't go down far enough, this will ding me if I'm not getting the right range of motion or if I'm not locking out?
Exactly. So
that's kind of spooky.
Yeah,
is that something we want?
It's absolutely, yeah. So certainly in terms of self-improvement,
yeah.
not cheating yourself is something that we think is very important. Where skipping your form on the last couple of reps is generally good in terms of if you're pushing your limits, but it's also important to keep that in mind so you do know what your true strengths are.
So people are going to go to CrossFit in the future, and they're going to suddenly be wearing devices, and they're going to get dinged if they don't get the right range of motion.
Yeah.
So they'll have their scores adjusted downward if they didn't get the right rep range in there and the full range on their reps.
Mm-hmm, certainly, and we'll also be able to reward those who do the actual work and create leaderboards amongst gyms internally. You can compete with any CrossFit athlete or any gym athlete across the nation.
Yeah, I see that could be cool. So you could have two people, one could be at home, one could be at a gym, or maybe even three people, one at a certified facility, and they could compete levelly against each other with this kind of technology.
Yeah, and we're really excited about the asynchronous ability for anyone, anywhere to compete on the same grounds.
Well, what about someone who's not into competing? I mean, is this technology, who's it for?
Mm-hmm.
Is it for the elite athlete looking to gain a slight advantage over their competitors, or is it looking for the person who wants to lose their first 5 pounds?
Yeah, so the technology behind Atlas has really been developed towards anyone who takes fitness seriously. As if you go to the gym 3 or more times a week, this is something that could greatly simplify and automate your entire experience.
So someone doesn't need to log their own exercises. It logs it for them, and it helps record the data. But I guess the question which society will have to decide, is that going to help people to become more fit?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be something that will become a distraction?
Definitely.
Is it going to connect with all our other devices, and people will be looking at their phones and suddenly getting sidetracked with other text messages? Or is this going to be something that really helps people focus and to push them, okay, I saw I got this last week, I want to go 5% better this week?
Yeah. So at Atlas, one of our main goals is to put the device in a form factor and create a user experience that becomes naturally integratable into your normal routines. So the device itself right now, this is one of our earlier prototypes, and hooked up to the computer for the demo. But the final product itself will be a complete, all-inclusive device with a display, so that you don't have to have your phone with you, you don't have to connect it to a computer. You can go about your gym workout the way you do it right now and automatically.
I believe you brought in a video that we could check out that has a prototype that has a little more displays than this.
Absolutely.
If we could take a look at that prototype. So do you want to tell us about the features, or what are we looking at?
Sure. So this is one of our concept prototypes for the Atlas. There's a full touchscreen display where you can see your heart rate, how many reps you've done, what exercises you are doing as well as telling you your gym duration. So one of the cool features with an Atlas is, instead of specifying a fixed amount of rest at the end of each exercise, we can make it a dynamically scaling rest. So we can say, after you do bench press, instead of just rating 90 seconds as like a fixed answer, which might not be applicable to everybody, we can say once your heart rate reaches 75% of maximum, and then we'll vibrate and then have it light up to tell you, now go ahead, begin the next set.
That's pretty cool. I could see how that would be useful, going by where your heart rate is versus time.
Absolutely.
And as you get in better shape, your time period should go down.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the disadvantages of this, of having wired devices? I can think of a couple, and I'm going to ask you
go
about
ahead,
one.
yeah.
I don't really like things on my wrist because I like to have dumbbells, and it just feels like it could get in the way of a dumbbell.
Absolutely, yeah. So form factor is something that's really important. So the current prototype is very bulky indeed. We've stuffed it with tons of extra features, which we will begin to trim, and we can miniaturize it significantly. So the product, the rendering that you've seen over there, is thinner than an iPhone 5, and through our test, it doesn't get in the way of anything except for dumbbell exercises, where sometimes you have the dumbbell flipped around. And so in terms of the use case, we have the opportunity for the users to wear the device such that the display is on the inside. So where there, you really get no interference with any other weights.
Okay, so what do you see as some of the disadvantages or some of the risk of this technology? Is it going to make people lazier and not be able to think quickly on their feet? If the machine or the exercises you want to do are busy when I get to the gym, will it be as easy to adapt to something else?
So, I mean, that's a great question. I guess it's hard to say exactly what disadvantages or risks there will be. But we do see the Atlas becoming sort of a secondary storage for your entire health and fitness life. Where right now you rely a lot on email and text messaging for communication, where if we had that message from my mom about something about my socks, like I can go back to my emails and look that up. And we want to bring that same type of freedom to the gym, where if you can't remember what your workout was 3 weeks ago, or what your 1 rep max, your best personal record was over the last month, we want everyone, users, athletes, everyone, to have the opportunity to go back in time to see where their progress has been made, where they might have been slacking, and even graph these across history.
But to really get technology to the next level, it's going to require pretty much everything to be wired. So my bathroom scale gets wired in, so it knows, okay, when I weighed this amount, I weighed 180 and I lifted this, I hit my PRs, but now if I lean down and go to 165 and I'm performing different, it's going to have to be talking to my scale, and then suddenly it's going to be talking to my kitchen food scale. And where is this all headed?
Yeah, so that's great. I think what we're describing here now, it becomes the Internet of Things. And this is something where the connectivity and the ability to understand yourself better becomes much more easy once you have the Internet. And so this is something that we are anticipating as well. So the Atlas platform itself will have an entirely open API, so that any developer, any athlete can have access to the data and to begin to create new ways for you to interact with the Atlas device, so you can understand how your workout is affected by your weight, how that's affected by your diet, and how that's affected by your sleep even, and create a really holistic picture on your own personal health.
Which makes me question, are there going to be privacy concerns? I mean, maybe this is going to be sharing a lot of information that's pretty accessible. What risks are going to be coming up there?
Absolutely, yeah. Privacy concerns is very important. So in terms of having the individual's data, that itself is highly encrypted to a point where we can't even see it, where only the user and the computer itself will be able to decrypt the code. And so this is stuff that along the future, once we get a lot more medical capabilities in terms of sensors, 5 years down the road, these sorts of things will all need to follow HIPAA compliancy for patient privacy.
Can you paint a picture of the future for me? What is it going to look like 5 years down the road?
That's a great question. We do see a huge trend in terms of the connected devices reaching a lot of portions of your life. You see the pedometers right now. You see the widening scale where you can now track your weight, as well as many different diet and nutrition tracking apps. So we certainly see sort of a convergence in terms of these opportunities, where it will really make you and I understanding our own personal health and fitness, and how to really help us get better faster, get stronger faster, much easier.
So basically having it where everything's connected to everything in the future, essentially where the refrigerator's talking to the kitchen scale, which is talking to my wearable fitness technology, which is talking to my bathroom scale, which is talking to my phone, which is coming up with programs and shopping list. Is it going to be coming up with shopping list?
Yeah.
And be counting my calories for me and telling me what I burned versus what I ate. This is really going to be a lot of data in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so there's certainly, privacy is really important to us in terms of encrypting the data so that it won't land into the wrong hands. But as long as we can ensure that level of security, we at least find that if we could figure out what workout routines help people with my body type get better faster, that sort of validated, guided, and validated routines is something that I believe many are looking for.
Well, to take the counter argument, I think we actually know that. I mean, I can tell someone that's skinny to gain weight, this is what they, and muscle, this is what they need to do. Someone that's a little bit overweight, I think we pretty well know what they need to do to lose weight, which brings me to a final question I've been thinking about. And
Sure.
a lot of being fit is having drive, determination, and the psychological factor. And I'm not sure if technology is going to be able to help people to be more motivated.
Definitely.
Is it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Great point, actually. So previously, I worked on a motivational platform. So this was at the Hopkins University where I studied, and we leveraged teams and competition along with extrinsic motivators, including iPads and iPhones for those who performed the best, and that clearly helped. And the way we scored everybody was based off of personal trainer visits once every 2 weeks, where we would then gauge what your 1 rep max was, how quickly you could run a mile, what your BMI was, a lot of interesting data points. And something interesting that we found after 2 years of running the program was the team and competitiveness is something that you can't replace, where this is where we find a lot of value in intramural sports, personal trainers, DVDs in terms of helping you get fit. That sort of stuff is something that requires a level of personal interaction between you and somebody else. But the other thing that we did find that was incredibly powerful was the ability of giving people the opportunity to see their own personal progress. Where if you go to the gym and for 3 months, you will see a little bit of improvement, but from sort of the single perspective that an individual has, a lot of it can get blurred and jumbled. And what we did find that was incredibly powerful was being able to see your improvement on a graph, being able to see your accomplishments and making it all tangible. And those are the types of feelings and methods of motivation we really think could be powerful.
At the same token, that could be an equally powerful dismotivator.
Absolutely.
If someone goes on vacation and they get tied up in life and they mistakenly slow down on their workouts,
right.
Well, suddenly they come back and it's going to show them how far away they are from where they used to be.
Right.
So is it going to be harder for them to deal with that and get back?
That's an interesting metric, and there are also certain challenges in terms of different people with different body types, different genders, etc. So we're testing out different normalized metrics. For example, momentum of improvement. So where instead of trying to calculate what your raw score is, we're sort of looking at what your direction and what your trajectory is. So it's more along the lines of, are you improving? How quickly are you improving? Are you doing the right things to help you become, to help you obtain whatever goals you may see?
Yeah, I think you hit on something really important there. And as we move into the Internet of Things and everything gets connected and we have big data and all sorts of data points, sometimes you need to think, well, what do you really want to measure? What's the critical things to be looking at?
Yeah.
Of all this data, how do you filter it and really cue into what are the numbers that matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something that we are also hunting for, which is another reason why we have our architecture open, so that from a personal individual level, you will be able to see all of your own data, and then from there you can drag and drop, you can put different things on X and Y axes to really customize what metrics matter to you. Because for those who are trying to burn fat or those who are trying to build mass, they're very incredibly different metrics that you want to take into consideration. So building flexibility into the open platform will really enable not only us, but like the entire community to work together to figure out which metrics are optimum for whatever goals you may have.
And I could see perhaps the medical providers both the insurance companies and also the medical facilities will eventually be looking to get access. And okay, how is Peter working out?
Absolutely, yeah.
So are you going to have your premiums go up? Look, Peter, you've been slacking off. You didn't wear your gym clothes. We see your heart rate got up quicker than it should have. And they're going to have all this data to go by. Well, are you going to be paying a premium for insurance because of that?
So that's something that is in the future that we haven't touched too deeply with. But I mean, at the moment, it's private. The data is private. We're not reselling anyone's data. It's only for you to see.
Well, if you share it with my insurance company, they'll give you a 10% discount. If they like it, maybe a 20%.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could just see how this is going to work its way into a lot of different avenues.
Absolutely, yeah. So that sort of becomes a personal decision that you yourself or anyone who else can make themselves. Where if you want to give access to your doctor, for example, if you have some sort of rehabilitation or physical therapy experience, or a chiropractor who is interested in seeing and how your physical therapy is doing, those sorts of things you can unlock to your doctor, your personal trainer, your athletic coach, or even your friend who lives next door.
So will this automatically call 911 if something's not going right if someone's having heart issues, and will this sense it down in the future and automatically GPS in medical?
I mean, so at least for Atlas, the medical applications are sort of a different vertical, where we're really focused on the health and the fitness side of the picture. There are many others working on lifelines.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end of our show here, but I want to thank you and our great crew for helping out. We do have a volunteer crew, and they do a great job, so I really appreciate all the help. And I think you bring up a great topic, the Internet of Things, fitness. It's really fun for me because I love technology and fitness, and it like ties everything together. But I think there's going to be some big questions that society has to adjust to and look at too. So thanks for helping to point those out. Any last thoughts?
No, yeah, thanks everyone for helping out. And again, Denet, yeah, thank you for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here.
And again, gadgets are cool, but what really matters is you have to learn to push yourself, to be motivated, to want to get better numbers, to want to improve yourself. And if being a gadget freak, having all the data will help you, I think it's awesome, something I'm all for. But if it's a distraction and it's going to make you get sidetracked and you're going to end up texting people instead of working out, then it might not be for you. Fitness is about pushing yourself to be the best you can, to be motivated, to get to the next level. And again, thanks for being on our show, Peter.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
We actually have to high five.